In this video, I'm going to share with you a tool that I use that I find really, really helpful. And the tool is a little timer. And so here is my little timer. I don't know if you can see that very well, actually. The lighting might be a little bit strange. There we go. And so how this timer works is it's like a countdown timer. And so you can adjust the time like that. So say I'm going to spend 15 minutes on a task. I set the timer like that. And then when the 15 minutes is up, it either flashes or there's an alarm. And so I'll just show you what it does. See, it's flashing. It flashes, or you can set it so that there's a little alarm. Yeah. And so I always prefer to have it where it's flashing rather than when the alarm is on. But I find this little piece of kit here is a total lifesaver for me. And I'm just going to share with you some ways that I use it. So I've shared before many times that I'm neurodivergent. I have autism and ADHD. And so one of the features of ADHD for me is time blindness. And so what that means for me is I can often really lose myself in time. I can struggle to have a concept of how long things are, particularly if I'm really, really in a flow state. If I'm really hyperfixating on something or really concentrating on something, I can lose all track of time. I can also really struggle to judge how long something is in between tasks. And so this little timer is really, really useful for me to help keep me on task. And so there's lots of ways I use it. At home, when I'm working in my office, I use this so that I don't get lost in a task. So I might, for example, I might decide, right, I'm going to spend 15 minutes in my email inbox and I'm just going to read emails in that 15 minutes. And I'll set my little timer for 15 minutes. And then when the time is up, I make a decision. If I haven't finished, I might make the decision to, okay, I'll spend 5 more minutes here. Or I might make the decision, okay, I'll come back to this later because there's more to do. Or if I finish within the 15 minutes, then that's brilliant. And this is really good for me as well because it is a little dopamine fix for me. If there's something that I'm procrastinating doing, which can happen for me a lot, I quite often, if there's a job that is boring, and I don't want to do it, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. I can sometimes think, okay, I'll just spend 5 minutes and I'll start the task. And then quite often what will happen is at the end of the 5 minutes, I'll be into the task. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll finish this. So it could be, for example, if I need to work on my tax or on my monthly finance report or something like that, or something dull that I just do not want to do, I quite often will say, okay, I'll just spend 5 minutes and I'll do what I can do for 5 minutes. And then usually what happens is I'm in the flow a bit more after 5 minutes, and then I'll extend my timer to be a little bit longer. So it's useful in that way. It's also really useful from a practical sense of if I've a mentor meeting. So you may know that I online mentor meetings for other kids yoga teachers. I really love doing these. So if you're one of these people who have come to my mentor meetings, hello, hi. And if you are somebody that would like to work with me in a mentor meeting, I would love to have you because it's one of my favourite parts of what I do. So I will spend an hour with somebody discussing an issue. So it could be some planning support, or it could some behaviour support, or it could just a weird question that somebody's got that they're not quite sure on, or wanting me to go over an aspect that they're struggling with in their delivery of what they're doing. And so I will have a meet of an hour with that person, and this will mean that I know how long is left of the meeting, and I can see that getting smaller in a really, really visual way. And obviously, yes, you can look at your clock. You might be sitting there thinking, "We'll just use a watch like a normal person," or just use a clock. But sometimes what can happen there is I can confuse myself with what time I started, or I can then I can start thinking about other things. If I see the time, it will send a little thought loop elsewhere. I also find these really useful for when I'm teaching. So if I'm doing, for example, a meditation, and I only want that meditation to last a certain amount of time, then I might have it there as a little reminder to not, get caught up in my imagination. And so it's really useful then. So yeah, that's my tool that I wanted to share with you today, my countdown timer. It's really, really useful for my office stuff and also in my classes, and particularly useful if you're neurodivergent or you struggle with timings. I recommend having one. I'm not an affiliate to it. It's just something I use and find useful.